All right, good morning and welcome. It's Corporate Governance Platform brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. I am Funmi Omoburiu. A quick reminder that ICSAN is the leading recognized professional body in Nigeria that is dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. On the program this morning, we want to look at role and influence of ethics on corporate brand and sustainability. And our guest this morning is Ms. VERA KANABE, FCIS. She's a member of the Welfare Committee, Lagos State Chapter of ICSAN. She's also a corporate governance consultant. Good morning, Ms. KANABE.
Good morning, Fumi.
All right, thank you for joining us. All right, also here in the studio, I have Mr. KADE, FCIS, who is Head of Research, ICSAN. Good morning, Mr. Ketefe.
Good morning, Fumi. Good morning to you, our guest, Ms. VERA KANABE, FCIS, and all our listeners. Good morning to you all.
All right, we're going to take this message and we'll be right back. Do stay with us.
The world is constantly evolving into a knowledge-based economy where skills and competencies constitute the lifeblood of public and corporate governance. You therefore need to empower yourself to fit into this new world by gaining basic knowledge and improving your skill set in the governance-focused disciplines. That is why every aspiring as well as practicing professional in governance field needs ICSAN.
ICSAN. What is ICSAN?
ICSAN is a leading statutorily established professional body dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. ICSAN members are trained as chartered secretaries and administrators.
Who are chartered secretaries and administrators?
Chartered secretaries are high-ranking governance professionals with a broad base of skills, unique amongst other professions. They are trained in law, finance, accounting, administration, strategy development, and corporate governance. In today's world, chartered secretaries and administrators discharge a wide range of duties and responsibilities, including functioning as chairmen of companies, executive directors, non-executive directors, company secretaries, risk managers, compliance managers, board evaluators, and corporate governance evaluators.
That is interesting. How then do I become a chartered secretary and administrator?
Good. Go to the Institute's website, www.icsan.org. You can also visit the National Secretariat of ICSAN at Plot 6, Elephant Cement Way, Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos, to get full information on how to become members. ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
All right, ICSAN, definitely the hub of governance professionals. As I said earlier, we're looking at role and influence of ethics on corporate brand and sustainability. All right, Ms. KANABE, let's begin this way. How would you define the term ethics in business parlance?
Thank you, Fumi. Ethics is referred to code of best practices embedded in operational environment to guide people on how to make the right and acceptable decisions and choices in the performance of their duties. They refer to principles, rules, and norms that are reference points by workers for their operational purposes. Now, the formulation of these corporate ethos and ethics is a function of the board and implemented by the management, but everyone is committed to making it successful. Then the establishment of the professional business and ethical conduct is to protect companies, to enhance their reputation while promoting good conduct and investors' confidence.
Okay, great. Now let's look at the relevance of ethics as it relates to, the context of corporate governance.
Ethics is relevant in the context of corporate governance. As a matter of fact, ethics is one of the established concepts of corporate governance, of governance.
Okay.
I'd like to define what corporate governance is. There's a link of convergence between corporate governance and ethics. Corporate governance is the way and manner in which a company is controlled and directed, as defined by the Cadre Committee report, which was published in May 1992. It is concerned with principles of best practices, laws, regulations that are established to ensure a company is properly run, to ensure its sustainability. While ethics is talking about a code of best practices to guide people in a certain environment on how to make the right decisions, as in the performance of their duty. So there's a point of convergence between the two. For a company to adhere strictly to the concept of corporate governance, there must be laws, regulations, and rules that we put in place, to guide people on making the right decisions and choices. Now, good corporate governance leads to good ethical business conduct, which leads to financial viability and leads to investors' confidence. Now, the principle 24.3.2 of the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018 states that a director should not make improper or prejudicial use of information they are privileged to have as directors, or they should not disclose non-public information except disclosure is authorized or legally mandated. Thank you.
All right, so let's look at likely consequences of ethical aberrations by the companies.
Now, there are several likely consequences of ethical aberrations by the company. I would just like to mention a few.
Okay.
These consequences are grave and they are negative. Now, non-ethical practices can jeopardize the interest of a company. It can lead to financial distress. This is because if the top management staff are involved with fraudulent practices like bribe and fraud, it can lead the company to financial distress. Now, non-ethical practices attract fines from government and regulators, which also can lead to financial loss. Non-ethical practices, can also reduce the reputation of the company, thereby denting the brand and the image, which has a lot of negative consequences on the company. And this is why the principle 24.2 of the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018 clearly states that the board should be directly responsible for monitoring adherence to the code of business conduct and ethics, and breaches should be effectively sanctioned. Now, this responsibility can be given to the committee in charge of nomination and governance.
Okay. Now, we've looked at some of the ethical aberrations. I know you've touched on some of the benefits, but I want you to expatiate a bit on, accruable benefits to a company for ethical observances.
Well, there are so many benefits for ethical observances, so many, and these benefits are positive benefits. First of all, it will prevent the company from corporate disaster. It will boost the morale of the company. It will improve the client's relation. It will foster trust between all stakeholders, because everybody will be complying to laws, regulations, and rules. Nobody will be faulting in any of this. Then it will also build good relationship between the board and the shareholders. Now, it will also promote good relationship between the company and the community, and also enhance profitability, sustainability, and investors' confidence. Now, when an investor has confidence in a company, obviously it has a lot of benefits because they want to invest in that particular company.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Now, transparency, trustworthiness, integrity, and fairness are some ethical virtues in business parlance. I wanted to shed light on how observance of or disregard of each of these, that's talking about transparency, trustworthiness, integrity, and fairness, how observance or disregard could affect business sustainability.
Well, transparency, trustworthiness, and fairness, loyalty,
integrity
are good virtues for every company to have, for you to be successful and for you to be sustainable. This is because if a company is not transparent, the existing investors of that company we lose confidence in that company, and they will not attract new investors to the company. It can also run foul of regulators as well. So it has a lot of, so it's for a company to be successful and be sustainable, trustworthiness, integrity, fairness are good virtues that every company should have. Thank you.
Now, there is a provision of the code that a company's code of business conduct and ethics should provide, among other things, that directors should not make improper or prejudicial use of information acquired as directors, and not disclose non-public information except where disclosure is authorized or legally mandated. I want us to look at the significance of this provision.
Now, the significance of this provision is to prevent the company and the directors from running into, from attracting fines to the company. For example, if a director is found faulty, for making wrongful misrepresentation of information, acquired by him as director, it can lead to reducing the reputation of the company, lead to reducing investors' confidence in the company, and also it may attract fines to the company. The company might be fined for insider dealing or unethical engagement of conflict of interest issues. So it has a lot of negative consequences.
All right. So what advice does the Institute have for private and public sector on how to entrench good ethical culture for their organizations?
Now, the advice I have for public and private sector is to conform strictly to the governance principles as enumerated in the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018, as the provision represents global best and acceptable practices, and also to advise them to establish policy on ethics to guide all stakeholders. Finally, I've also advised them to consult institutes like ICSAN to organize training on ethics for their directors and the top management staff. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. KANABE. All right, Mr. Ketefe, let's take some announcements.
Thank you very much, Fumi. The announcement we have for our listener today is on 2023 Company Secretaries and Registrars Forum, which is just from 48 hours away. This is to inform charter secretaries, registrars, governance professionals, and interested members of the public generally that the Institute of Charter Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ISAN, in collaboration with the Institute of Capital Market Registrar, ICMR, are set to hold the 2023 Company Secretaries and Registrars Forum on Friday, April 14th, 2023. That's just about 48 hours away. The theme of this program is Sustainability and Global Governance Workplace, the role of corporate secretaries, registrars, and issuers. This event will be held by hybrid method, which means participants can take part either physically or by virtual method. The venue for physical participation is Civic Center, Ozumba Mbadiwe Road, Victoria Highland, Lagos. The Company Secretaries and Registrars Forum is organized annually to provide solutions to pertinent issues in the operation of companies, secretaries, registrars, and issuers. The two institutes, that is ICSAN and ICMR, are jointly organizing this forum to ensure all relevant stakeholders are part of this initiative to move the sector to greater height. As part of the benefits of this forum, participants will be exposed to issues on sustainability and the global governance workplace, while the role the corporate secretaries, registrars, and issuers can play to advance the profession as well as to advance the nation's economic at large will be highlighted. The schedule for participation fee is as follows. Fellows of the two institutes who are participating by virtual method will pay 25,000 naira. Those who are participating by physical method will pay 40,000 naira. The associate of the two institutes will pay 25,000 naira for virtual participation, while the physical participation counterpart will pay 35,000 naira. For graduates of both institutes, the fee for virtual participation is 25,000 naira. Physical participation, 35,000 naira. For students of both institutes, virtual participation fee is 20,000 naira, and for physical participation is 25,000 naira. Non-members of both institutes, that is those who are neither members of ICSAN or ICMR, they will pay 25,000 naira, while for physical participation they are going to pay 50,000 naira. This event attracts 5 credit points for ICSAN members as well as ICMR members. For more information on this 2023 ICSAN ICMR Company Secretaries and Registrars Forum, please call Florence on 080-323-69300. Florence on 080-323-69300. Thank you and have a pleasant day.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kade Ketefe, FCIS, Head of Research, ICSAN, and of course, Mr. VERA KANABE, FCIS, Member Welfare Committee, Lagos Chapter, and of course, a Corporate Governance Consultant. It's been wonderful having you on the show this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's our package this morning on Corporate Governance Platform, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. We return again next week, Wednesday, 10:15 a.m., right here on Equator 9.7 FM. I am Funmi Omoburiwo. Enjoy the rest of the day.